What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the right side of the map in the blue color, playing as Odin. His name is mrboat. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Zeus. Getting a little bit unlucky at the start there. We'll talk about that later. His name is Eric. Eric going to be feeling incredibly good after that first game, being able to take out mrboat on Tundra, a very, very strong Odin map in that matchup, according to a lot of people. But I mean, I'm going to keep saying that I think this matchup is 100% skill-based on pretty much every land map. And everyone else can say that I'm wrong. I don't care. That's my opinion, and I'm going to stick with it. And let's talk a little bit about what just happened here from Eric. Eric went for what looks to me to be a very, very new-ish build order. He sent 2 villagers to this granary, and he put 1 villager onto this gold mine and 2 villagers over here. He's going for a fast advance here, it looks like. But the thing is, when you go for a fast advance time, it's really, really important that you kill your giraffe, kill your hunt very close to your granary. It's super important to make that happen. It looks like Eric is actually going for a second granary here as well early, which means he's not going to be able to get a hyper fast advance time, maybe a 416 rather than a 402. If he goes for the 402, you'd be on the giraffe completely in your main base. You get a 402. If you go for a second granary, you can get a 402 off of that, but it is a little bit more tight, a little bit. I don't see the point in it because you're going to have to move villagers out there anyways. But either way, he's going for a relatively fast advance. Now, mrboat here, after losing that first game, he has to think, wow, I'm going to have to try something different here because it didn't work. What he tried to do there, he got absolutely out-thought. He got out-microed to some degree, and he basically just got outplayed in that first game. So he has to go back to the drawing board and go, what can he do? What can Odin do now to get an advantage? The map is different. This is Blue Lagoon. What's different about this map than on a Tundra map? Well, there's only 1 hunt group in the main base, which means that Odin can put pressure onto the secondary hunt of Zeus really, really early and get some advantages there. So that's the big, big difference between Tundra and, say, Blue Lagoon. So we'll see if Eric is going to go for the same Hermes play here, or if he's going to go for Athena, and we'll see if mrboat is going to change his opening plan here to be more aggressive earlier rather than playing that defensive play style that he went for in the last game. Now, there's another thing here. If Eric decides to go for that Centaur play yet again, there is this timing that Odin and Norse have against Centaur Hoplite, which allows them to put early pressure onto the hunt. So whether or not mrboat knows about that remains to be seen. He's a very good player. He played in the kind of the generation, as it were, where Centaur Hoplite was really a big fan, a very, very strong thing. And he would be able to know, he should know that he could get value in the early game there. However, we see Eric is advancing through Athena, going for a very different strategy here. He's going for what looks to be a 416 there. It looked to be a 416. He's gone up with 17 villagers, so it is a 416. Whether he hit the 416 or not remains to be seen. He's got himself 2 storehouses up, getting himself his houses up, and he will be trying to put some pressure onto mrboat. Mrboat here is going to be just playing nice and defensively here. Houses going up around his temple. Walls coming up as well, just to have to play around the potential centaur that can come through here in the early game as well. Some beautiful hunt here for mrboat as well. So he's going to be able to enjoy that. And he has found a relic here. A blue crystal shard. It's decent. It's good. Plus 5% villager gold and wood gather rate. There are some moments in the game, depending on what economic upgrade you have, as to what actual exact amount of gold and wood gather rate you get, but it's definitely worth picking up. We also see the Cathedra of Apollo over here. This is a big relic to have actually for Zeus. It allows you to keep your units alive much, much easier, as we see the military academy and the archery range coming down. I like the positioning because you can throw a wall up here and make your units just that little bit, or your village just that little bit safer here, or even a gate here so that you can run back and forth to keep them nice and safe against early game raids. As we do see the Bolt there onto the Valkyrie this time, utilizing that one in the early stages of the game, as Mr. Boat now moving out into the middle of the map, wanting to go onto these Zebra here. This is a big movement from Mr. Boat, and he is going to be getting pushed back for the time being. Though that being said, early game here, if you have enough Hersir out, which it looks like Mr. Boat does have, he should be able to push out here and take that fight. Though the Hoplites Toxotes coming through now for Eric, it's probably going to mean that Mr. Boat needs to just sit back and play a little bit defensively here, as, be careful here. Don't want to be going in and getting caught out, losing free HP, as we do see Eric going to be doing a cheeky little speed walk out of there, getting a little bit of damage back onto Mr. Boat, as Mr. Boat now sees the units, he sees the Toxote, he sees the Hoplites, and he is going to be going for Throw an Axeman and Raiding Cavalry coming out here. There is a really, really strong unit composition you can go for against the Athena rush here. So you also see a random Ketoskopos checking this out, and that is Hersir, Throw an Axeman. If you go for it early, you actually win these early fights, and you can jump onto hunts super early unless restoration gets used. But early restoration is what you want nonetheless. But we aren't really seeing that. Instead, we're going to start seeing the cheeky raids coming in. And Eric has got no defenses for these raids. The Ravens sitting on this position here. We haven't seen Eric try and snipe those down. Eric going to be retreating away. He breaks through on this location here. Houses coming up. Plenty of units. Good, well positioned over here. Good control of the Toxotes thus far from Eric. What he wants to really do, and this is something I talk about a little bit, is you want to be having your Toxotes and your Odysseus in a separate control group to your Hoplites, so that you can have your Toxotes moving forward and ranging the melee units while having the Hoplites in the back. And then when you want to do is, once the units start running forward, you run the Toxotes, say they're here, you run the Toxotes off to this way and send your Hoplites forward to the area that the opponent's units are attacking you from, and that way you can catch them and start fighting again and having an advantage on those sorts of positions there. As Eric drops the granary on this position here, the raiding cavalry pushing across the map, Hoplites sitting here, standing watch, standing guard. So we see Eric still sitting in this position. Watchtowers come through. That's going to be a good thing. And now we do see Eric going for these kind of attacks here. Will he be able to get a dwarf kill, though? It looks like not. He's going to be losing a Toxote if he tries that here. So nice play here. Good watchtower positions here, as Eric's unit's kind of getting a little bit caught out of position. The raiding cavalry searching around for villages. There are 2 villages here, and he just misses that. Checking out the elephant and gazelle here. Nothing currently happening there, as the villagers just simply moving forward. There is still also a forest fire remaining here in this game for Mr. Boat, as well as a restoration. So if Mr. Boat can catch Eric out on a forest, he can get a lot of advantage there. As he does find these villages, it's going to be 2 villager kills here, as Eric tries to retreat these villagers away. The hyena going to be coming in to help out as well here, it seems, as the... will he even get the kill? That hyena is making... The hyena actually keeps the villager alive. No, the villager falls. He doesn't get 2 villagers there. I thought he would have been able to, as the raiding cavalry are going to be retreating away, as the Hoplites going to be coming in to defend this. Do you have to remember that Zeus Hoplites have got themselves an extra 0.7 speed, I believe. Is that right? Let me just quickly check the math on that. 0.5 speed, an extra 0.5 speed for the Hoplites when you play Zeus. So they can catch up a little bit, and we do actually see the forest fire getting thrown down there. Gets a couple of kills, gets a little bit of damage onto the Toxotes. I would have liked to hold that a little bit longer, as the raiding cavalry now coming through to try and catch out these Toxotes on the back. The units for Mr. Boat starting to move forward. Restoration gets clicked there, and Mr. Boat is simply just going to be able to retreat back, utilizing the forest fire as a retreat path here. He's going to be completely fine. He does need to make sure he walls up this watchtower, though, because once this forest fire is done, the units here of Eric can just push in and take this watchtower out very, very simply. Population differential now very close, 76 to 86, And basically here, Mr. Boat here, he needs to figure out what he needs to do to get up to the next stage. We do see the hoplites coming over onto this position, going to be starting to get a raid onto the villagers. Nice attempt at micro here from Mr. Boat, but he doesn't quite get it done perfectly there as Mr. Boat's raiding cavalry coming over here to shank these or to basically kill these hoplites off, as the villagers are going to be shanking this down as best as they possibly can. Meanwhile, the watchtower in the main base of Mr. Boat is now going to be going down. He didn't put the wall segments up, and the throw and axemen going to come through to try and take out those hoplites there. As the units coming back over here, we'll see if this is something that Eric cares about or not, is giving the hunt, well, it's only 200 food remaining over there, so it's not the biggest of deals, but giving that elephant away to Mr. Boat will be a relatively big deal here, as Mr. Boat is still trying to get his units out here as best as he possibly can. He's currently housed after losing those houses there, so taking a fight here might be a little bit difficult, as Eric now able to take down the temple on this position here. The throw and axemen trying to do what they can do. Good control here from Eric, continuing to keep his hoplites in the right position here. Toxoid is going to attempt to push through here and get what they can get damage they can do onto the villagers here as well. Mr. Boat trying to get his houses up, losing the temple there. Also going to be dropping that relic out as well. Still trying to distract this as best as he possibly can. Houses going up on the bottom to try and sit around this watchtower. Still 500 gold left in this gold mine here. Mr. Boat, the only real option he has here is to get himself up to 115 population, but he's so far away from that here, considering Eric is at full population, continuing to get pressure done. We see another house coming down here as well. Plenty of resources in the bank here, but the production facilities not quite there, as the dwarves are going to be sneaking up to this gold mine. There are villagers over here that can jump onto that gold mine as well. And Eric here, he's going to be trying to hold this position, but Mr. Boat, he doesn't care. He's going to sneak up to the top. This is going to give him enough time here to hold that gold mine, or at least getting the gold to get him up to full population. He needs to get some upgrades here as well. Eric's sitting at 115 population right now. Slight mistake, if you ask me. He should sit at about 110 population so he can continue to get more villagers out. And then slowly just maybe it's even worth it to delete a unit to get more villagers coming out of his town center here. As he does push forward, and we are seeing a little bit of fighting going on, but the Minotaur still starting to come out as well for Eric, as Mr. Boat is getting more and more food. Where's the food coming from? I guess he's just getting from pigs in the middle of his base here, as the units are still slowly getting chipped away. Mr. Boat going to get himself medium infantry here. Still, those Toxoid positioning here. The micro from Eric is really, really good at this point, as we do see a handful of hoplites moving up to this top gold mine. This might be the cue here that Mr. Boat needs to take this fight, but he is going to be retreating up, trying to deal with this. There is that one ox cart over here that could get sniped down by Eric, just to be a little bit annoying. As the watchtower here does go down, Eric opening the base ever so slightly. Eric could pretty much just right-click on the town center now and cause some real big problems for Mr. Boat, but he's not going for it just yet, as the throw and axemen come up onto the top side here. 100 of 105 population for Mr. Boat. He's got a handful of throw and axemen in his main base that he's going to need for this army here. How many Hersir does he have is the big question. He's got himself 4 Hersir at this point to try and deal with those Minotaur. Imagine Forest Fire now. Just going to say it. Imagine Forest Fire at this point, as Eric is, I mean, obviously Eric probably wouldn't sit here on this position with Forest Fire being available, but that's the reason to hold Forest Fire in this matchup, as the unit's pushing forward, taking down the villagers nicely. We do see a little bit of micro here. The Hersir do manage to take down one Minotaur, but there is still one more Minotaur remaining, as Eric's throwing axe, Eric's Toxoid is doing tons of damage here. We do see the Hersir get a couple of shots off onto the Minotaur, but it manages to stay alive. And now Mr. Boat loses all of those villagers. He's in a really, really big economic problem right now at 24 villages to 40 of Eric's here, as we do see Mr. Boat getting that cheeky little micro that we see so often there, but he decides in that moment that the game is lost. Eric manages to execute an incredibly clean Athena rush in this game. Mr. Boat got what he wanted. He got the restoration used, not on a gold mine. That's what he wanted there. But after that, he just could not find the advantages here. He could not get to he needed to get to the heroic age, is basically what we're saying. I think the forest fire being used here, opening up this watchtower to be taken down, opening this gold mine to be pushed off, meant that Mr. Boat has to keep building units, and he just couldn't. I mean, also the house positioning a little bit funny as well. You want to be putting your houses in a safe position, not out in the open against Zeus. meant that Mr. Boat couldn't get up to that 115 population that you need to be able to win a Greek army in the classical age. And Eric just manages to get that win there. Beautiful win, up 2-0 in this series. A commanding lead here for Eric. We'll see if Mr. Boat can work it out. He's going to have to pull out some magic here to find a victory in this series here. Having to win 3 games in a row against Eric. We'll see how he's going to, if he's going to be able to do this. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.